Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Shit's about to hit the fan. Welcome to Unsanctioned Thursdays on Wrestling with Freddie.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unsanctioned Thursdays, the show that you requested, the show that you got, and this show's going to be all about you, the fans of pro wrestling, and the interactions that they have with the WWE Universe. We talked about this a little on our regular show about fan participation versus fan takeover. One is good, one is evil. And if you're responsible for the evil, you should be ashamed of yourself. Go call your mother right now and say, "I'm sorry, Mom. You tried to raise me right, but I didn't take to it. I just didn't take to it." Some of the stuff is great. The most recent example is in Paris. I wish I knew what they were singing, but they were singing. I know I don't know how all the Europeans know all the words to the wrestler songs. And here I am, and it's my first language, and I know like the first 3 words to every wrestler song and can't understand any of the words after that. But somehow they can do it.
Yeah, I know. Cult of personality.
That's
and the rest,
a cheat.
I have no idea. I have no idea the rest of the words.
And that's even a cheat because that was like a mainstream hit before it was even his song. So you may have heard it on the radio. So it makes it tricky.
You know,
but
when they
like,
cut to the audience and there's people that are like kind of like mouthing, like, but they don't know what it is.
Like the Star Spangled Banner. Yeah, exactly.
And they go, cult of person. You're like, you knew the chorus.
Edge's song. They always know Edge's song, or Adam Copeland now in AEW. I know on this day, I see clearly. And then that's all I know from the song. And there's Cody Rhodes. I don't know any of the words to Cody's. What? Oh, I don't know any of the words to Rhea's.
If Rhea Ripley's listening, listen, you're the biggest star, in my opinion. I think you're the biggest star of wrestling. That you're going to be the biggest future star of women's wrestling. Stop lip syncing to every lyric as you come down the. Stop.
Why? I like it.
No, she should be like in wrestling mode. She's like lipping. It makes her look like a high school girl that's like listening to her radio, knowing all the words to the song.
I see pro fighters lip syncing the songs when they come down to in a UFC fight. They're lip syncing.
It looks corny. It doesn't matter.
Nah, I like it. We just
nope. Something to think about, Rhea. Something to work on.
Yeah, right.
Actually, let's talk about that.
Don't listen to Jeff.
Let's talk about it. As a wrestler, listen. How long have the Usos been wrestlers?
Since I worked there.
Okay. And then how long? I'm trying to think of some other guys because I don't want to just pick on the Usos. Gosh, I don't know. So a lot of times a wrestler's been a wrestler their whole life. They've grown up around wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Their parents were wrestling. Their uncles are wrestling. They're all like part of this big wrestling thing. And is it somewhat disrespectful or something if someone said, "Hey, I know you've been wrestling for 30 years and you grew up in it. Let's work on your punches." They're not looking very convincing. Do they ever get like notes like after a match like, "Hey, everything was great, but we've got to work on landing those punches"? Why don't you go down to the event center or the entertainment, whatever the hell they're calling it, go to the training place, work on the hits or the punches.
The young wrestlers, I know they do, but once you're at a certain level and your punches aren't hurting the other person, then nobody's going to say anything to you. They just want to be protected and safe in there.
Well, like some of these guys, like they're working so safe, they're not even 3 inches from their face, or like
I see
it's
misses
coming down real
too,
slow, or they'll barely like. It's
Look,
like,
not everybody's Sheamus, bro. Not everybody's just going to be like,
work
"Hey, man,
on it.
Punch me in the face."
They're the
Wait,
pros.
no, what do you mean punch you in the face? I mean punch me in the face. Like
This
not
isn't an
everybody
indie
can
show
take
in
it.
Burbank. We're talking about the pros. We're watching the best of the best, and their punches look like dog shit.
Look, I disagree with everything Jeff just said. I would much prefer you keep each other safe, and most of the punches are looking pretty sweet out there. Alexa Bliss still with the best right hand in the game. It's the most realistic punch in the world, and she's like 5'4", 5'5", and it's the best right hand in the game, and it looks awesome every time. Now, granted, long hair on dudes and girls make those punches look more real because you can't quite see because it gets lost in the hair. And headbutt. I love a good headbutt.
With long hair, a headbutt is so good.
Oh, yeah, dude. When Drew McIntyre does the Glasgow kiss, it always looks perfect. When Rhea Ripley does her headbutt, it always looks perfect. If the person has long hair that she headbutts, because then it whips back.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And sometimes if they do the water thing in their hair, you see like it's supposed to be sweat, but it's the water flies off their head. My daughter thinks it's gross. I think it's super cool. But yeah, all right. Back to it. All right.
Well, let's talk about the sing-along and chants.
Yeah, this is a question from our producer, Alex. Do you think WWE leans into this stuff too much now? Like, are they literally booking entrances for TikTok moments instead of wrestling moments? Jeff, I think you have a pretty strong perspective on this.
100%.
You spoke on it on the main show, but for those who didn't hear that, maybe reiterate and elaborate a little bit.
All right, so here's what I'll say. I am fine with wrestling chants. I'm a wrestling fan. I like when we chant. I like when we know the stuff. I like when we go with the wrestler with whatever they're saying whenever they want. That's good. All good. This is awesome. You've still got it. Holy shit. All those chants, good. Because those are chants that are happening while the wrestling's happening, and it's part of the show. It's part of the product. The only thing I'm criticizing is when they sing a thing or do a thing and the wrestler just isn't talking or isn't doing anything as like an opening of that's the only one I'm criticizing. I think all the rest of it's very nice part of it. I'm saying let's get to the show. Well, I don't need even 3 minutes of the wrestler like acknowledging the audience and like waiting to talk and like that I think is overdone and it's too much and we need to just get to the product. All the other chants I'm fine with and I like. I think even the chants I don't like are still part of wrestling and who cares what I like. So it's like when they do the yeet thing, like it's been very clunky. Like there was a Raw the other night, I'm not sure how long ago, where he was trying to get him to say nope, but they just kept saying yeet because they were.
I remember that.
Yeah. And he was like, nope. And then he does it. And then they go, yeet. And then he's like, no, he was like, he couldn't convince them to do the right thing. So anyways, I'm fine with it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm fine with all of it. I'm saying just let's not do that big thing where no one's talking and we're just listening to the audience do John Cena's song or sing like along with Roman Reigns nonsense.
Here's a follow-up question for you. Because you said you like it when it's happening during the match. Right. What about when the chants are something that you're not allowed to hear on the TV product? Like if it's a holy shit or a AEW, hey, fuck you, you suck chant. Like, not you suck, but when they're literally dropping F-bombs in there and now they have to mute the product and you can't see it. And they're kind of taking over the show in a certain regard. It's only now for the house and it's no longer for the TV audience. How do you feel about that?
That doesn't bother me as much because an F word is so quick to edit. Like they can just kind of distort it a little bit. I'm sure the editors hate it, but it doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect the product enough that it bothers me. And I'm like, yeah, let them rip. Let it have fun. I want all the wrestling fans to be happy. I want it to have fun. But I think for the good of rest, we have to make sure it's not taking up too much TV time.
Yeah, it's much more theatrical now than it used to be. Like in the old days, there was something called a heels entrance, and which was a false entrance because in Puerto Rico, JBL taught me about this. When the heels would step out of the tunnel, the fans that were right above the tunnel would just dump everything on them, just beers, piss, water.
I love this.
Batteries, pennies, like whatever. They just would throw shit at him. And so there'd be a false entrance where you take a step and then step back and all the shit hits the ground and then you enter the arena, right? So that's how it used to be. Like when I went to a match with my grandma in Puerto Rico, they put a cage around the ring. I said, is this a steel cage match? And she said, not exactly. As in case the wrong guy wins, the crowd can't run in there and kill the winner. And I was like, what? And then I saw the bad guy coming out and people started chucking batteries at him. And my grandma like held me down so I didn't get hit by anything. And I was just like, yo, what the hell is going on? I was like 8 years old, dude. I was scared to death. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So it's evolved from violence against these people when they thought it was real to now that they know it's entertainment. Now the fans want to be a part of the show too. And they involve themselves, whether it be disruptive, like a what chant, or whether it's a part of a match where they're literally like cheering the baby faces come back and the comeback happens because of the audience's cheering, which happens all the time. And that's an empowering feeling if you're a fan. You're like, especially if you're young and it's still real to you, you're like, I cheered John Cena and that made him get back up. And that's such a great feeling when you're a wrestling fan because you were a part of that moment, right? And I think that's why they get involved is because there's still some magic involved there. It's not like a boring Broadway play where you can't do anything. You just sit there and listen and then you clap at the end of everything. It's not like when people go to see, what was it called? Alexander or Hamilton. It was Hamilton. Like, I don't know if I've never gone to that crap, but if like you start singing, not crap. I mean, they're talented, but I like movies. I don't like plays. But like, I don't know if you're allowed to sing along, but I would imagine you're not. And if you did, you'd be asked to leave because those are the greatest voices in the world, and your voice sucks, right? It sounds like Jeff and my voice. Like, sorry if you thought your voice was nice. It's not. It's just as bad as ours. You're not James Englehart. Like, he's like, that guy's
yeah, if you brought a date to Les Miserables and she starts singing along, you're like, this is over. Like, like even at a theater, you go, no, we're not singing along. What are you doing?
My ex-girlfriend back in the day when I was like 19, 20 brought me to Les Mis, and she was like, it's a very masculine show. You're going to really like it. And I was like, all right, I'll go. There was nothing masculine about Les Mis.
Tricked you,
there was nothing masculine at all. It was all just singing and dancing, and that is not manly when you're 19 and you grew up watching Jackie Chan movies. Like, I want to see fist fights. I want to see bloody noses. I want to see asses kicked. I don't want to see stage combat. I want to see Jackie Chan fight.
Jet ski on fire and some titties. That's what I'm into.
Yeah, I'm not well cultured, man. I'm the first to admit it. I like what I like. I like
wrestling.
I like pro wrestling. I like the UFC. I like boxing. I like race cars. I like old cars. Like, that's the shit that I'm into. And the other stuff's just not for me.
I want to see Mae Young power bombed into a table. That's what I want to see.
But exactly,
some
dude.
Puppies.
My Bubba and some puppies. Shout out to Jerry the King Lawler. So yeah, man. So to me, the crowd participation has always been like más o menos, right? Like, it's always been kind of either I like it or I don't like it, and I haven't found the gray area yet. I appreciate it more now that I'm older, but when I worked there, I freaking hated it. Probably because I felt like they were messing up the speeches that I was writing for these wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are fucking it up. Give the guy a chance. God damn. But I've grown since then. All right, Jeff, you get the final word. Is the modern wrestling fan too involved, or is this just the evolution of the business? That's a question from our producer, Alex.
I think that's a great question. Here's the thing. As wrestling fans, we want to be a part of all of it. We live in this modern world. That's why I'm a big fan of that show Unreal on Netflix. And some fans are crashing out about it, saying, oh, this is too much. They're doing this. Is kayfabe dead? It's like, yes, kayfabe's been dead, bro. What are you talking about? You don't get to pretend you love kayfabe when you follow all these wrestlers on Twitter. When you expect there to be an announcement of Naomi having a baby when she's the biggest, best heel in women's wrestling right now, and then they cut to her talking to Stephanie McMahon, someone everyone hates his daughter, and then she's with Triple H, who everyone criticizes, and she's going, congrats on having the baby, and then Naomi's like, yeah, I guess I'm having a baby with Jay. You're like, that's breaking kayfabe, and that's on the show. That's on the wrestling you love. And then you're going to bitch and moan that like Unreal has like a doc series. You follow these people. You know everything they're doing. You go to these like wrestling cons and you go to these conventions and you literally sit there and go, I met mommy. She was so nice to me. And that's all breaking kayfabe.
Yeah.
So that's just how the modern era is. There's no kayfabe. It's been gone for 20-something years.
Longer, bro.
The only people trying to keep up with kayfabe is MJF, bless his heart, like still like trying to convince everyone that he's this guy yelling at people at sushi restaurants with Freddie or flipping off your daughter at an autograph line. There are people trying to keep kayfabe alive, and you, the wrestling fan, me, the wrestling fan, have ruined kayfabe. It's over. Stop complaining about it.
I agree kayfabe is over. And I don't have any argument, but I would elaborate on what you said a little bit. Kayfabe's been dead for way longer than 20 years. YouTube Plan B, wrestlers Plan B. This was in the 70s. They wanted more money, and they literally made a video where they said it's all fake. I'm not Russian. I just do a Russian accent, and the moves are fake. I'm in there to like this was in the 70s, and then in the 80s they started doing the shoot interviews, which then killed kayfabe all over again. So all this stuff, and then social media then finalized it, put the final
podcasts. I mean,
and
these
podcasts
guys,
like this, so it's been gone.
Well,
for
no,
a long
not
time.
ours. I'm talking about them going on a podcast, or like Logan Paul
like
interviewing
shoot
three wrestlers a week. And then Drew McIntyre going on a podcast, like literally saying, "My friends are texting me that all the wrestlers are tiny and they should be delivering pizzas," and like I blah blah blah. It's like people are breaking kayfabe every 10 minutes. Like I shouldn't know what these guys' houses look like, but you can figure out what their apartment looks like and who they're dating, and they have an on-screen boyfriend, Dominic Mysterio, but then they have like a husband at home. It's like kayfabe is gone.
Hey man, nobody has a husband at home when they're dating Dominic Mysterio. He's enough man for all the women, and I'm not going to tolerate any even near slander of that fine human being. Nor will we tolerate any slander of our listeners. So if you guys hate our listeners, fuck you. Thanks for listening, everybody. On behalf of Jeff, I'm Freddie, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
We love you.